Hey there, super learners. Jonathan Levy here, and I'm excited to bring you yet another incredible success story from one of our students. Today, we are going to be seeing an interview with JC, who just has such an incredible energy and such a wonderful story to tell you guys. JC actually was able to quadruple 4x his reading speed in the course in just 3 weeks, which I don't know how he did in just 3 weeks, but I think he took a lot of time off and did it. And he, in addition to 4xing, quadrupling his reading speed, he was also able to double his comprehension. So if you think about it, it's kind of an 8x on retention per minute spent, if you will. And all that is really incredible. He's starting a business. He's excelling at work. He's doing all these incredible things. What I didn't realize in the interview, and why I wanted to tell you guys this, I thought that I was talking to someone just based on his accomplishments, someone 30 years old, 25 years old. I only realized after the interview that JC is just 20 years old. He just turned 20 shortly before this interview. I think it's just incredible the level of maturity and success that he's had and motivation that he brings to this subject. So I wanted to share with you guys this story, not just because it's inspiring and motivational, but because there are a lot of really powerful techniques here that JC talks about that he has implemented, and a lot of really important tips that he brings up as to how you can succeed in the course, how you can get ahead, how you can stay motivated to actually have the results the way that he has. So I want to thank JC for this incredible interview and for his very kind words. And I encourage you guys to share this interview, watch it, take notes, and get motivated, get inspired, guys. All right, here we go. JC, welcome. Thank you so much for making the time. I know you're at the end of a long day, just got off work, so I'm really appreciative that you're available to share your story with us.
Sure. My pleasure.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about how you found out about the course and maybe why you were drawn to the course, or what was going on in your life that made you want to improve your learning skills.
I guess it started with my job first and foremost because I was reading about 5,000 words a day as a forward moderator from Microsoft.
Wow.
So I really needed to, number one, read a lot, comprehend faster, and retain faster
Mm-hmm.
because it's a technical job for Microsoft. So I really needed to improve my learning skills. Also because I was starting a business. And, with job, full-time business, you really need to be able to comprehend and retain a lot of information very quickly.
Mm. So were you struggling, or it was just you wanted to get ahead in your day job?
I just wanted to get ahead. Yeah.
Amazing. So tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about JC before and JC after. I mean, what was your reading speed and comprehension going in, and tell me a bit about what you've been able to do since.
Uh, Going into the when I took the first test for the reading speed, it was a measly 187 words at 40% comprehension.
Wow. Good
Wow,
stuff.
yes. I
Yeah,
know.
we've all been there. We've all
Yeah.
been there.
But fortunately and very, very fortunately, it was uh, 490. This was the third reading speed test of the course, and this was at 494 words per minute at 85% retention.
Wow. So
Yeah,
not only 4 times faster, but also doubled retention, which is pretty incredible. And it's worth
amazing.
noting, English is probably your second or third language, and all those tests are in English.
Yeah, it is.
Though being from the Philippines, your English is probably just as good as any other language.
Um,
So
I guess somehow.
very cool. So what has been the impact for you at work and also in your side venture, and kind of how has that skill actually translated to improvements in your day-to-day life?
Time, just so much more time. I don't have to
Hmm.
review content again and again. I can just 5 minutes done. When I need to run my business, yeah,
Amazing.
when I need to learn something new, watch a video, play at 2 times the speed, time, so much more time.
Amazing. So, okay, I'm sure a lot of people watching are also enrolled in the course, but I'm sure a lot of them are like so many students. I mean, I'm one of these students sometimes where you pick up an online course, you read all the emails and everything, but you keep saying, tomorrow, next weekend, I'm going to get involved. So tell us exactly what it is that you're doing when you read that fast. I mean, what is basically, if I didn't know anything about SuperLearning, tell me what you're doing that's allowing you to retain information that fast and what the difference is in the way you're reading. I don't expect you to explain the whole course or anything, but
Ah, sure. Number one is intentional, intentional improvement, I guess, because when you're trying to learn speed reading, you start reading the way you've always read things. You have to unlearn the way you read, and you have to start training yourself to read faster. And I think the number one thing that really boosted my reading speed was intense focus. Because if I hadn't had focused on just reading faster, and I thought of all the different things, I wouldn't have improved as great because I think there's something about focusing really hard on doing one thing that
Mhm.
helps you improve so much faster. Yeah.
So has pre-reading really helped with the skill of pre-reading that we teach in the course? Has it really helped with improving your focus and being very deliberate about the text that you read?
Yeah, definitely. Because when you pre-read, you get the gist of things. And then
Mhm.
when you start reading, you get the whole context and content of things.
Amazing. Talk to me a little bit about how you're memorizing this text, beyond the first 5 minutes when you actually need to use it in your job.
I would say coming back because the course teaches you markers using images. My the weird thing for me is I used audio markers. Like like for example, problem would be said by Morgan Freeman, and then it would come after an explanation. So I guess that's really what worked for me. And being using weird things, special things that stand out, because when you use special markers, then they stand out, you easily remember them.
So using
Yeah,
novelty and leveraging kind of the way that the brain pays attention, and then I'm sure connecting things to pre-existing knowledge, which is such a core component of what we teach. Do you have any tips for technical material? Because I know a lot of students have no problem speed reading simple stuff, but when it comes down to technical information, like I imagine you're reading at work, they tend to struggle. So what are your thoughts on that?
um number one, when I speed read, I actually uh start forming an idea in my mind, like a mind map. And then
Mm-hmm.
within a piece of text, I start connecting things. And after I have read everything, I'm able to review it as a whole, and I'm able to pinpoint the different things within the text.
Amazing. So again, this kind of idea of dual coding, linking knowledge to
Yeah,
existing knowledge, and then obviously the pre-reading gives you this overview that you can then go and fill in details instead of trying to do it
yes,
on the
exactly.
fly while you read.
Exactly.
Very, very cool. Tell us a little bit about what you've been able to learn that you would have struggled with had you not taken the course. So like what kind of stuff are you working on right now?
Um, I'm working on business for the most part, but the one thing
Okay.
that I wouldn't have learned as well is the theory of the omega point theory.
Okay.
Have you-
I'm not familiar.
It's basically the theory that just as everything began for the Big Bang, it will
Hmm.
also end in a big crunch. It's it's super
A singularity.
singularity, exactly. So the basic concept
Okay.
of the omega theory is that as humanity evolves, we become so advanced that we're able to transform ourselves into waves, so that at the end
Mhm.
singularity, we're able to control time and matter and everything itself. So in essence, we become
Mhm.
God.
It's really interesting. I just read an article about that in Wait But Why, which is one of my favorite blogs, and this idea of like if we invent advanced super intelligence or artificial super intelligence, and it sounds crazy, but if it comes up with a grand theory of the universe, that's essentially the source code of everything and could ostensibly manipulate matter and become God.
I'm I'm no right. Like if I hadn't had the power to learn these things, I wouldn't be motivated to actually learn them in the first
Mhm.
place.
Totally. So what's your marker for omega theory? Because I've just created a marker myself, but I'm curious, like walk me through how you memorize something like that.
Again with the weird markers, it's a white ball of light with equations on it. So I see a triangle, and on one point is the start of the universe, and then it sort of expands, and I see little people there, and then it contracts, something like that. It tells the story. The image tells the story. Yeah,
Yeah, and obviously a compound marker that you've created after the fact to kind of insert in little
yeah.
details, which I think is really cool. And then connecting it again to add knowledge as you accumulate. Very interesting. What business topics are you currently learning? Like, what's your current learning challenge?
Right now is Forex trading, if you're familiar with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
super in depth. It's like science, and it takes a lot
Hmm.
of mental prowess. So with concepts like the Fibonacci, the trend lines, market cycles, what else? Basic technical analysis, fundamental analysis, analyzing
Wow.
the economy with along with politics. Those are my
Amazing.
yeah, those are my things.
And your business is around Forex.
Uh, no, actually, investing. Forex is one of the things, but the core idea
Okay.
is to invest in different financial instruments.
Very cool. So really you've become quite a polymath, and able to just like absorb. So tell me, like, what are you reading? What are you doing? Are you just reading a ton of newspapers, financial analyses, The Economist? Like, tell me about your information diet, if you will.
It starts off with Udemy courses
Cool.
that are played on twice the speed, and
Mm-hmm.
books. Definitely books have helped me a lot. I've read the Naked Forex Trading Without Indicators by Walter Peters, PhD. See, I
Mm-hmm.
can still remember that. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing. Okay, cool.
yeah.
And I guess really interesting. I think you're probably the first student I've had a chance to talk to that's learning like Forex of all things. Tell us a success story that you've had around learning some of this stuff, a moment where you're like, whoa, how did I know that?
Uh, I guess when it comes to emotional control,
Mm,
because it's a big trading is emotions are a big part of trading. And before I had actually learned to leverage my logic above my emotion, uh, it's helped me follow my rules much better because Forex really is all about rules and following rules and staying within the boundary.
wow. So in a sense, memorizing those rules and having them come up before emotions is really one of the kind of big things.
Super,
It's interesting
super.
because one of my professors at business school always used to say, like, it takes a lot to have contrarian strategy in the sense that when everyone else is getting emotional and freaking out, you have to be the one who's like, hold.
Stay calm.
Exactly. He's like, it takes a lot, but if you can master that contrarian strategy, you can make billions like Warren Buffett, you know?
Exactly. Just
Incredible.
stay calm.
Incredible. So I want to get into. I want to obviously be respectful of your time, knowing that it's very late where you are. But I want to get into some practical tips. Are there any things that you did throughout the course? Because I think a lot of students drop off, they get frustrated, or they don't have enough time. They don't feel they have enough time. So are there any things that you did throughout the process of the course that you feel made you more successful?
Number one, intentional practice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to practice intentionally with goals in mind and with an endpoint, an end goal. You have to practice, like some people do things and they do it like half-assed. Sorry for the word. Like they just do it, yeah, yeah, just reading, but you have to do it with a lot of focus. And you have to practice. These are super practical things that everyone should do, but not most people do it.
Right. Right. I think that's really, really important. Um, and can I ask? as well. Like, what was your time period? Because some people go through the course in 10 weeks. Some people take 6 months to go through it very slowly.
If I remember correctly, I did one subject a day, so it might have been 2, 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
That's it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really fast. That's really, really fast. So you set aside a
Yeah,
lot of time to do it during
definitely.
vacations, weekends, stuff like that. Okay. That's
Every day,
interesting.
yeah.
I didn't know people could go through the course that fast, but that's very,
Well,
very impressive.
yeah, people are more powerful than they think.
Totally. That's a good quote as
Totally.
well. So, are there any other things you want to kind of share with the audience that I didn't cover, JC? Like any tips or any words of encouragement for people who want to achieve your level of success?
I would say simply set goals, stick to the hustle, focus, and thank people like Levi for making this course.
Thank you so much. It's really been just an awesome pleasure. Like, it totally makes my day to hear about a student who's actually not just learned this stuff, for school or for party tricks, but is actually doing stuff to make their life and make their surroundings better using these techniques. So I'm really, really glad at all the success you've had, and I'm really thankful for your time
Thank
to
you.
share it.
Not without you, though.
Well, awesome, JC. So if there's anything else that I can do to help or anything, let me know. And I would love to hear how the new business gets off the ground. And we'd love to
Sure.
have you back and hear your story again.
Sure.
All right, my friend.
Soon.
So take care.
Thank you.